EA needs to push out a Battlefield 3 remake to win back gamers and wash away the recent disappointments. That's a headline from a recently released article from MP First suggesting that EA and DICE can save Battlefield and bring back the gamers if they could just entice them with a nostalgia trip, which, to be fair, could probably get them a good chunk of cash and fan service, but remakes don't save franchises, and Battlefield is dead. It's taken us a while to accept it, but we really need to, and we need to move on. A lot of people compare Battlefield 2042's launch with Battlefield 4's, but often forget that a lot of what plagued Battlefield 4 was a very buggy release and horrible network issues. But the base game underneath was actually really good if you got to play it, which is why nearly a decade later, people still are. It's a great game, Battlefield 4 still holds up, and it's fun. It's just flat out fun. But in recent years, EA and DICE have forgotten what it means to make a game. They've turned Battlefield from a multiplayer shooter with friends into this weird mix of Apex Legends, Call of Duty, and Fortnite, while also somehow making the core Battlefield gameplay, and more importantly, squad play, worse than ever before. Although I loved Battlefield 1, a lot of people didn't, and a lot of people didn't really like Battlefield 5 either. But at the end of the day, in those games, you could still squad up with your friends, join a server, play some games, and have fun. Even if it wasn't your favorite Battlefield setting, you still had fun with that group playing Battlefield. Battlefield 2042 removed dedicated servers, essentially killing the community and making it nearly impossible to play with your friends. You no longer felt like you could be a proper teammate since you felt forced to pick the meta specialist kit and the best weapon out of the only 20 or so available. You didn't have a way for you to gauge how well you were doing since there was no scoreboard. And to top it all off, the gameplay was just bad. The maps were bad. The netcode was bad, and the bugs were bad. Nothing about this game felt good, and people left. And in the middle of all of this, what's actually really sad, since I know some people do take great pride for some reason to see a game fail, is that as Battlefield died, friendships died. Hobbies died. I'm in my 30s. I don't have much time to do anything else other than work and take care of my kids, but one thing most of us do is take a little bit of time out of the week to game with our friends. That might be World of Warcraft, that might be Rainbow Six Siege, or that might be Battlefield. And I had someone come to stream one day, and while we were talking about Battlefield, he said that his group of buddies don't play anymore because of how bad Battlefield 2042 is. And because of that, they don't really hang out anymore. They don't really play anything since they grew up playing Battlefield together. For the past 15 years, Battlefield has been a part of these people's lives. And because of horrible mismanagement, people just aren't playing a video game anymore with their friends, meaning they're actually starting to drift apart. It's actually quite sad, but where one game dies, another will always rise and take its place. And I think we're currently entering the era of tactical shooters. And I hope that if you are one of these people who are no longer playing Battlefield, or maybe your friends have gone away and you're no longer playing with your friends at all, to take a chance on tactical shooters. Squad first released to Steam Early Access in 2015, and it didn't officially launch as a full V1.0 game until 2020. With hardcore shooter elements, long respawn timers, heavy communication required, lack of personal progression, no cosmetics, no season pass, and only community-hosted dedicated servers. Yes, there's no matchmaking. Squad released into a shooter space with things like Apex Legends, PUBG, COD Warzone, Valorant, and Fortnite. Things with MMR and automated matchmaking, plenty of cosmetics, battle passes, and just ways that you can spend money in-game. Squad was a very different game, attracting a very different audience. But for an indie niche game, getting to nearly 15,000 peak players is no small feat. It achieved this because what Squad does well is encourage people to play with each other and not against each other. It keeps people squatted up and using their microphone, and it forces you to work together for upwards of 2 hours to play the objective. It's fun, it's rewarding, and it's immersive. The vehicles and weapons feel fairly realistic, the sound is incredible, and if you thought Battlefield moments were good, well, Squad moments are even better.
Is that a mine?
Over the past couple of years, OWI, the publisher and developer of Squad, has had to deal with issues like replacing their old CEO, rewriting and sorting through endless amounts of horrible coding, and trying to do game dev remotely with everything that's been going on in the world. And because of all of these roadblocks, Squad has run into a trap of promising the world and delivering, well, I don't want to say nothing because that's not true, but nearly everything that was released on Squad's roadmap back in 2020 has not been implemented. Almost everything that was promised is not in-game. To OWI's credit, they have admitted that they kind of screwed up the post-launch support, the roadmap was way too ambitious, and they've stated that they're working to get back to frequent smaller updates for the game, but in the 2 years since the game launched, unfortunately Squad's player base dwindled. From a 15,000 player peak in September of 2020, down to a 6,000 peak of fall of 2021, and even 50% less people on average playing the game at any given moment, Squad was in a really big low point because there was literally no updates coming to the game. It was a bit of a frustrating time to be a Squad player, to say the least. Here you have a fantastic game that you're able to play with as many friends as you want, go to the same server every day if you wanted to, and so that way you begin to learn the community and make more friends, and you can essentially play a slower paced Battlefield. Many people turn to games like Hell Let Loose, a similar tactical shooter to Squad, but simply World War II themed, or Tarkov, a game that feels like a hardcore version of Squad. And when Battlefield 2042 came out, nearly everyone I knew hopped off of Squad and went on to play Battlefield. Squad players are usually Battlefield players at heart anyways. As the Battlefield hype enveloped everybody, OWI worked through their technical debt and finally released an update to the game after 6 months of essentially radio silence. With Squad v 2.12, graphics were improved significantly, making an already immersive game feel that much better. And not only did the devs patch the game, but they also came out swinging with plenty of communication, a Q&A, follow-up hotfixes to address bugs and issues, and promises of more frequent content drops. Looking at the Steam charts, the numbers don't lie, and Squad seems to have timed their comeback patch perfectly to coincide with the entire gaming world finally sick and tired of EA and Battlefield. Not only did Squad fix long-term bugs and improve graphics, but we finally have a stable game that lets players play modded content, meaning that unlike Battlefield's Portal, which gave the impression players could play the game however they wanted, Squad actually lets you do that. Mods introducing new weapons and vehicles, new maps, and even complete overhaul mods like zombies, survival games, and RTS games are actually populated on the main server browser. There are people that I see playing Squad today that are both completely new to the game, as well as those who I haven't seen in-game since it first released out of early access in 2020. Squad is in a resurgence, and it's a very real resurgence, and I'd expect the game to break its all-time peak player count within the next month or so. The big question now is if the devs can take advantage of this momentum and build on it. I know I've been burned before, but I actually think they can. Just yesterday, OWI announced a developer Q&A, which might not mean anything to you, but that's their 9th official blog post since January, which also includes a v2.12 release, v2.13 and 2.14 hotfixes, and an update discussing their roadmap, or new and improved roadmap. To put this into perspective, the very first playtest for 2.12 was back in June of 2021. This update we just got, in my opinion, was a huge problem the team was working on for the better part of a year. And now that that's out of the way, I'd expect the floodgates to open and we are going to be getting some real updates real soon. I don't know when they're coming, but looking on the roadmap, we still have the Marines, the Aussies, Pan-Asia, multiple new maps, game mode overhauls, and much more. And if for whatever reason we don't get those immediately, I don't really care. I've been bouncing between Vanilla Squad and Modded Squad the past couple weeks, specifically Middle East Escalation, and I've been having an absolute blast playing Squad again. There's even a mod releasing on March 19th called Steel Division, which introduces attack helicopters and fast ropes. Maybe you want regular Squad but new weapons and vehicles? The French mod is just about finished too, and it's so good it actually looks like it was made by OWI themselves. Same with the Democratic Opposition Forces mod. Squad is in a really good place right now, not only from the community standpoint and the dev standpoint, but from the community content standpoint. And I've always said that if a game wants to be successful long term, there needs to be a way for the community to improve and add on it. And honestly, it's only going to get better. And getting better is something I really can't say about Battlefield 2042, or even, unfortunately, the entire Battlefield franchise for that matter. If you haven't played a tactical shooter before, I strongly encourage you to try it out. The pacing will be different. You're going to die a lot at first, and hell, even nearly 4,000 hours in, I'm still dying a lot, but it's a game that really makes you feel like you're playing with people and not against people. Unlike Battlefield 2042, I don't feel like I'm playing a product. I feel like I'm playing a video game. I don't care about specialists. I don't care about end-of-screen dance moves. I don't care about a battle pass. I just load up on the server with my buds, squad up, and we have fun. And now I can have even more fun because of the sheer amount of people that are hopping in and giving squad a try because of the absolute dumpster fire and massive failure Battlefield 2042 was. So for the first time ever, I want to actually thank the Battlefield 2042 devs, because if it wasn't for them, I don't think I'd be having such a fun time playing video games right now. So thank you, Battlefield. I'm so glad you failed so hard that you have just indirectly populated my favorite game. But what do you guys think? Is the age of tactical shooters here, or is this just a happy coincidence? Is Battlefield dead for good, or would you actually shell out $60 for a Battlefield 3 remake? And who here has either gotten back to squad or just recently got into squad for the first time? Let me know in the comments below. Give this a thumbs up if you like the video, and subscribe for more. And if you're interested in streams, don't forget to check out my live streams over at twitch.tv/MoiDawg, where I stream every weekday. I love talking and hanging out with y'all, so I hope to see you there. But that's it for me. Until next time, peace. Yes, please. Two down. Two helicopters down.
You almost hit on the gun, I got you.
Yeah, I know.
Good job, good job.